Despite the compelling motive and the strong suspicion, the case stalled. Without the murder weapon or a direct forensic link to David, prosecutors felt they couldn't secure a conviction. Sergeant Rodriguez was quietly transferred to a new post, effectively escaping the scrutiny of the local police. The case went cold. Maria's file was relegated to a dusty shelf, becoming another unsolved tragedy in the annals of military base crime. Years passed. David continued his military career, seemingly having gotten away with murder, while Maria's family was left with agonizing uncertainty and a profound sense of injustice. The silence was deafening, but the truth was merely waiting for technology to catch up. Nearly a decade later, the case was reopened by a dedicated cold case unit. Advances in forensic science offered a glimmer of hope. Investigators re-examined the original evidence, focusing on trace materials collected from Maria's clothing and the crime scene. The breakthrough came when new DNA technology allowed them to analyze microscopic fibers and biological material previously deemed too degraded. A tiny, almost invisible blood smear found on Maria's belt buckle, when retested, matched David Rodriguez's profile. It was the physical link they had been missing, a small, undeniable piece of evidence that placed him directly at the scene of the crime. With the DNA evidence secured, the cold case team focused on finding the final piece of the puzzle, a witness. They re-interviewed everyone connected to David Rodriguez, eventually locating a former acquaintance, a fellow soldier named Sergeant Miller. Miller, burdened by years of silence, finally cracked. He revealed that David had confessed to him shortly after the murder, detailing how he had killed Maria during a violent argument and then enlisted Miller's help in staging the scene to look like a random attack. Miller's testimony was damning, confirming the premeditation and the subsequent cover-up. This was the human element that solidified the scientific proof. The investigation revealed that David had not acted entirely alone in the aftermath. Sergeant Miller, though not directly involved in the murder, was instrumental in covering up the crime. He admitted to helping David clean the apartment and dispose of some of Maria's personal effects, believing he was simply helping a friend in distress, only later realizing the depth of David's depravity. The revelation of an accomplice, even one who only helped with the cleanup, exposed the extent of the military culture of silence and protection that had shielded David for so long. Miller was granted immunity in exchange for his full cooperation, ensuring that the full scope of the cover-up was finally brought to light. In a dramatic courtroom showdown years after the murder, David Rodriguez was finally confronted with the mountain of evidence: the DNA, the abuse history, and the damning witness testimony. The jury quickly returned a verdict of guilty. Justice, though delayed, was finally served for Maria Rodriguez and her grieving family. David was sentenced to life in prison, his military career and reputation destroyed by the truth he had tried so desperately to bury. This case serves as a stark reminder that time does not erase the truth, and that the dedication of cold case investigators can pierce even the most calculated cover-ups, bringing peace to victims who waited decades for their day in court.